Boyfriend them gonna be mad at me because I'm gonna have this playing on the car in the car. They can learn too.
Okay, friends. Well, although the downside is that this one doesn't really show the salivary glands very well, so I may have to go grab a head in just a second. But starting here, is the lips, and that's the tongue, so this is going to be the oral cavity.
Okay.
And then you all should know the pharynx already. Remember, the nasopharynx is behind the nasal cavity. The oropharynx is behind the oral cavity. And then down here where we have the larynx, that little white line right there, that's the vocal cords. So this is the larynx, which was that big model. They had like the gray thing for the epiglottis that we looked at, for respiratory. So this section right here is going to be like the laryngopharynx, like where you have the split. So the trachea goes this way, and then the esophagus, of course, is right here. Okay, so that's going to be the passage. At the end of the esophagus, we're going to have the lower esophageal sphincter, and that's just the valve, basically. Because we say sphincter, it means like a circular muscle, so it can go like this to open and close. Yeah, so you got it. So that's just going to fall. So we're going to do that now. So lower esophageal sphincter, and then, of course, the stomach. Oh, I forgot to say the rugae. Don't forget the rugae. You do need to know that. The ridges in the stomach that allow for it to expand, which hopefully will be a useful thing on Thursday. Okay? So, as you know, Thanksgiving. Because if someone's watching this video in the spring, they'll be like, what is she talking about? But anyways, so over here, as you leave the stomach, this is going to be the pyloric sphincter, so same thing. So the two sphincters can close off when the stomach is like churning, doing its thing. From here, the next section is going to be the duodenum, and this one's kind of unique because it's fixed. The other two sections of the small intestine can wiggle around a little bit, but this one doesn't, and also it's kind of short. So the duodenum or duodenum is right here, and then that's going to lead into the rest. So you'll have the jejunum, which is probably the slightly darker part here, and then the ileum, because it comes over here, you can kind of see where it connects to the large intestine. But I'm not going to like point here and be like, what section is this? I'm not. The subtle difference in the color, I'm not that much of a jerk. I mean, I don't do that for my other class either. But you do need to know the order. So duodenum, jejunum, ileum. So DJ ileum, dropping the latest hits. So embarrassing, but highly effective. Pop that back into place real quick. So the sphincter, because there's a lot of sphincters in this chapter, from the ileum leading into the cecum, this little pouch right here, the first part of the large intestine. So this is going to be the ileocecal valve or ileocecal sphincter, because sometimes you'll see valve instead of sphincter. And then you can see the appendix kind of sticking out right here. So for the large intestine, you have cecum, just this little part right there, and then the ascending colon, transverse colon coming across, and I put my hands on the right part again.
This is the large intestine, right?
Yeah, this is all the large, yeah. Sometimes you just hear it called colon, like shorthand. Yeah, but yeah, so ascending, transverse, and then descending colon.
So when they do colonoscopy, that's what?
They're coming in right here, my friend. That's why you're knocked out. You don't want to know about what's going on, though. No. It's...
Gotcha. Okay.
A few people will do it without sedation. I've known some doctors that will do. I'm happy that this is being recorded for posterity. Yeah, if they had to go back to work afterwards, they would just go in there and When I had it done, I was unconscious.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times. But anyways, so from the descending colon, you get this little S curve. That's the sigmoid colon. I think sigmoid starts with an S, so it kind of makes sense to my brain. And that's going to line up in the back, basically. And then you'll have, rectum, the anal canal, and then the anus here, which is going to be the exit point. And this is about to fall, so I'm just going to grab that. So that's the alimentary canal, basically from the oral cavity to the anus. For the accessory structures, we've of course got the liver. Now this is not a whole liver. They kind of cut it so you could see like the gallbladder and all that. And then over here we've got the pancreas. Everybody should be familiar with that because we talked about it when we did the endocrine system. And then of course the spleen is kind of thrown over here. That's not really digestive, but just because it's right there, we just tend to kind of include it. So there you go, friends.
This the blue in red right here. What's that?
Oh, that's the inferior vena cava.
Okay.
Yeah, so the blood supply is just kind of coming right there. Actually, wait, is it? It might be the hepatic portal vein, but I would never ask that because honestly, it's a vein. I can tell you that much. But yeah, it's just the supply. Because you can kind of see like the little bits of plumbing, like that's like the cystic duct right there. That's gonna lead to the gallbladder. You can kind of see like the common bile duct and all, but they're so small in this model. I probably want to ask you guys that on a lab practical. That's something we'll get you with in the next class.
Okay.
So, yeah, you don't need to know that now. So,
Okay.
there you go. So, take a few minutes. There goes my